Welcome to Stories, Soulwork, and Substack. I'm John Rinaldo, joined by my co-host, Kaz in the World. Each episode we share real stories, honest conversations that connect us through creativity and truth. Before we begin, please remember our discussions are based on personal experiences and not a substitute for professional advice. Now let's dive in. Hey Kaz, how
Hi,
you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we had a good week, obviously, right? Hopefully everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us on our show after Thanksgiving. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Wish you well, all that good stuff. How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, I have two. So I had
Well, we both.
Canadian last month. We both have two. I don't know. I do it up on the Canadian one. So I decided not to cook
Mhm.
for the US one. And my husband, my son, and his girlfriend, we went to this amazing, authentic Chinese place. And I've been to China, so I can say it was definitely authentic. And we had great food and good times together. And yeah, I'm going to hawk these people. It's called Chuan Fu in Orlando. If you're in Orlando, Florida, or you're going to be in Florida, go to Chuan Fu. It was amazing if you love Chinese food. And you made your fabulous cranberry dressing, I understand, or dessert, right? Cranberry
Well,
dessert.
it's a cranberry, but it was all vegan, 100% vegan,
Ooh. Mm.
because we have some vegan eaters or guests. So we made sure. Well, I always make it vegan, so it's good. And
Mm.
yeah, so it was good cranberry. It actually hit a home run. So even the turkey, so it was all good. Everybody enjoyed it. Everybody loved it. So yeah,
Oh, good. I like a guy who can cook, so bravo.
yeah. I was prepping like for 4 days to get there. So
I remember you telling me that. I
yeah.
remember
So,
that. So, but
but
a good time was had by all then, I'm
yeah,
assuming.
it was good. Everybody enjoyed themselves. I think we had a good. And then this weekend was just another weekend of, oh my God, just running around catching up on stuff. So there was a lot of stuff we did. So it was a lot. I was busy all week, and then we had a Christmas party last night. So first one of the season. Yeah, oh yeah, it's
Wow.
starting, starting. Yeah.
Oh, it started Halloween. I mean, I saw Christmas decorations up on Halloween, so
Uh,
it's just taking over. Let's start,
well, we have our Christmas tree up and everything this weekend.
ah.
Yeah, we started doing that, and yeah, so it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, I have
Well,
kind of a I have a holiday tree up because I practice Buddhism, and we have a holiday bamboo, and I wrap it in lights because according to Buddhist philosophy, they've been doing it for millennia. I mean, millennia, and the lights, which were candles on a bush or a tree or whatever, is the stages of enlightenment. So I've got pretty colored trees on my bamboo, and it looks fantastic, and I love it. And
cool.
I like the holiday season. I was raised with Christmas, so I put up snowmen and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I just want to introduce. I wanted to say thank you for Denise, Sarah, Gray, Elizabeth, Lynn, Christopher, Sherry, Carrie. Hey, thank you for joining us early. We appreciate it.
Hi, hi,
I'm
everybody.
excited about our guest coming up. Sarah, I want to. Can you pronounce her last name? Is it Ora? Or I should have asked.
Oler. I think it's,
Oler.
Oler, Sarah. I hope
Sarah.
this is right. And if it's wrong, you get on and you correct us,
Yeah.
please.
So it's Sarah Oehler. I think it might be German last name. I think.
Oler, Oler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we have her coming on. Did you get a favorite Substacker this week that you read at all?
Oh my gosh, David Nom, as usual, just blew my doors in because he always has something amazing to say, and he follows it with videos of cats or cats and dogs and how they are the expression of what he's talking about in his little philosophy of the human experience. And you just laugh and you're very touched. And Gray, as always, has something Elucidating to say, and who, man, there were quite a few this week, new ones actually that I started reading. Um, you've talked about this before, where one of your books you would post chapters of your book
Right.
on Substack, and I was reading it. Oh man, I need to look him up because I really want to give him kudos because I can't wait. It's like science fiction fantasy, and I cannot wait for him to uh I will buy the book for sure. Hold on. How about you? While I'm looking, I'm listening too.
There's been a couple of
I can
people.
multitask.
There's a couple of people that I've been following. Was Uma was one of them.
Oh yeah.
She's man, that lady has so much energy. It's unbelievable, and
She's always got something great to say.
she's a great philosopher, and that's what I love about when I read about her content. And there was another one. It was Tracy Edwards, which she should be on.
Tracy.
She be on our show in a couple of weeks.
15th.
Yeah,
15th. Yep.
and I think she posted something. I can't remember what she posted. Like I have to apologize. It's been, like I said, I've been crazy, and even though I've been posting in notes, I haven't really been commenting like I used to, or like I've been. And it's been
Yeah.
a little bit of taskful the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks. So I try to, obviously, I'm trying to catch up on some stuff. But she wrote something about, I can't remember what she wrote about, but I was on her podcast. That's the other thing, is I was on her podcast.
Yes, you were.
First time reading, and I was nervous and when I get really, really nervous, my dyslexia comes out like crazy, and I mutter and I kind of like skim over words and I kind of bypass them. And so it's just been, ugh.
Well,
Yeah.
you read your own book. You could have just done it by memory.
I could have just skimmed. I could have just told the story. Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at the book and you're actually just making it up as you go along.
There was one point where I thought I was like double reading, and I was like, because I was like, did I just read that twice?
Well,
Yeah.
your first time. I mean, kudos that you, with your dyslexia, that you really just jumped right in there with both feet and just went for it. And you have to honor that. You really, really do. Because not, I mean, just like Destiny,
Yeah.
Destiny talking about taking the leap, and Jennifer Haddock with her
Yeah.
and her life. And she has been, I mean, I talk about that all the time now about taking the leaps because I've been leaping since I was 14. So, you got to go for it. And time's a wasting, folks.
Yeah.
Let's
So
do
no,
this.
I'm grateful I did that. I got to do more of that. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I think the more I do that, the better I'll get. I am assuming. I hope so. Knock on wood. Yeah. So I've been practicing my 30-second videos, and I've been posting them on TikTok.
Oh,
And
good.
mostly about the father side of divorce and things like that. So that's what I've been talking over there. And I do post
Right.
my Substacks here, but it's these short little videos. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's been a good week so far, I would say.
Yeah.
For a lot of things. And it's one of the things I actually wrote today. I was like, the little things that we miss in life is these little memento, like these little small little things that we forget to say we're thankful for. And then and we're not in the moment when we say it. That's the problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like you see something, you kind of like, oh, that's nice. It's like, it was a meme. And it's called, it's a Vancouver meme. And it's actually, it's called
I
Sea.
saw that.
It's called this. That's where the guy goes to the ocean. Oh, that's pretty. And kind of like, okay, that's done. 10 minutes later, he walks away. Well, when you live there, that's the mindset. Cause you're like, there's beauty everywhere and you take for granted of it. And then when you move away, you're like, oh man, I just miss the ocean. I miss the mountains. I miss the air. I miss the livelihood of culture, all that stuff. So
Agreed.
so when I do get a chance, so this morning when I posted something, I posted about that. It was like, be in the moment and be thankful at the time, not afterwards. Cause that's, I think more of presence you be, the better it is, cause then you're more control of your life that way.
Yeah. Instead of waiting for the next moment, like you stand over the Grand Canyon and go, yeah, wow, that's big. That's nice. What are we going to eat? Where are we going to eat? Yeah. What's the next thing? Let's get to, the next.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. The other thing is, quickly. That reminded me of, I was watching a Russian lady's video, and she said, "What is with the Americans?" And she goes, "All you guys talk about is restaurants. Like, what's the big deal? You go and you eat, and if it's good food, you just say it's good food. If it's shitty food, you'll say it's shitty food." He goes, "But life is more than just restaurants and just whatever. Like, where is your purpose? Where is your meaning? Where's the connection with other people?" And I thought
That
about,
is the connection. Eating together, breaking bread together is connection. It's sharing.
yeah,
It's
but it can
co-
also be very, very shallow talking, and that's the point. It was very
that's
shallow
true.
talking. There's no depth in even though it's a connection, but there's no depth in the connection.
She's never been at my dining table in a restaurant. That's for sure.
Well, some tables are better. I'm
We
assuming
get in it.
I'm assuming she lives in LA,
She's
so
in, she's more than welcome to come out here and go to a restaurant with me, and we will get to it.
all right. So, well, should we bring our guest in? What do you think?
I think it's about time. Yes, let's
Okay.
do
So,
this.
do we want to dive in?
Dive in.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Sarah.
Hello.
There she is.
So,
I
do we
love the on-air button and being live. It's so exciting. It's been a
You're
while.
bookended. You're don't let us intimidate you that we are bookended.
So,
All right.
do we
Pronounce your last
Yeah.
name correctly.
You nailed it. It's Oehler.
Okay.
And in German, you nailed it, which is Uller.
Ich
Well, I used to
spreche,
live in Germany, so
ja, ich spreche Deutsch. Ja, ein bisschen Deutsch.
Wonderful. Well, my partner's German, so he'll be thrilled. We can
Oh,
say
good.
things in German.
Ich liebe deine Partnerin. Das ist sehr
Frankfurt.
gut.
That's where I
so
was living.
cool.
Frankfurt.
And I have no German background. That actually was my adoptive father's last name. I was born Rathburn and reunited with my dad later in life. So that's another story.
Oh.
But yeah, kind of nice to be back to Oehler. That was always my other name.
Oh,
So
good.
you did it.
Okay.
Yeah, hard to
Yeah.
pronounce.
Yeah. Well, I looked at it, I was like, and for me being dyslexic, I was like, okay, that's going to be a tricky name for me to kind of figure out. So
Great job. Yeah.
Yeah. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us. The reason why I was we chatted back and forth a couple times, and I read a couple of your Substacks, and I thought, wow. And then when I read about you being a journalist and you kind of like decided to kind of like move to a new career and all that, what made you make, I mean, like you do talk about that, but tell us, how did you come to the conclusion that it was time to move on?
Well, it was when I decided to go back into it and I had small children and the schedule was just too much. So it was a very tearful conversation with fantastic news director and an assistant news director who's a female and now runs that station, WTOL in Toledo. I had worked in that market before getting married and having children. Always knew I wanted to have a family. And so part of why I left the first time when I was in my 20s was just wanting to have a life. So I moved back here to Colorado where I grew up and took a break from the fast pace. Yeah.
I love Colorado.
It's beautiful. I love it too. Yeah, it'd been fast paced since I left. And I really wasn't being present in any of it. I wanted to leave my small town of birthhood and see the big world. So I was in downtown LA at USC, completely overwhelmed in this huge city. But
conversations there? No, just kidding.
What's that?
Was there depth conversations there? We were making a little joke earlier on about dinner table conversations, but yeah.
There were deep conversations with professors there, and I really loved how they really welcomed me. And working on a college campus now, I realized how valuable that was because I was really homesick. It was not as glamorous as I thought, other than being a seat filler at the Oscars. That was exciting, but it was overwhelming. I mean, I grew up where there was mountains and landscape within a short drive at all times. And there was no space around me. It was just constant noise, downtown LA, really hectic. And I was nervous all the time. But I had some really deep conversations with other students, which actually led to me deciding to launch a podcast, which is not live yet, but recorded. And it was someone that I went to school with there. And we had a lot of conversations. She reached out to me 3 years ago and said, what would you do if you could do anything? I said, I'd want to tell stories again. And she said, what's stopping you from doing a podcast? I'm like, well, maybe little kids. And then I realized, like Kaz was saying, time is short. And how much longer am I going to wait to do this? Right. So I need to take the steps towards it. And those steps have gotten me to where, okay, now I have to launch it because people are actually doing interviews with me. And it's really exciting. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So,
That could be rough going from Colorado. My husband was born in Colorado, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
in Denver. And I lived in LA. I worked in LA. I get it in the industry.
You do.
So
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then moved to Vancouver. But going from where you were in Colorado,
Mhm.
that little town, to
Yep.
LA, must have been. Well, do you feel like because you went into university that you maybe didn't get the full onslaught of LA, or do you feel you were right in it?
I think because of the location, had I gone to UCLA or, in retrospect, I kind of wish I'd gotten to, UC Santa Barbara or somewhere else. But I'm going to go to the best
Oh.
broadcasting school. But being in downtown LA, I mean, you were really in the thick of it. It was a beautiful campus. But just to step off campus, it was intense. It was the city. And I recall a professor going just so pale and terrified that he sent me to the wrong neighborhood, but I had the best story in class. He was an editor at the LA Times and he was teaching news
Oh.
writing, which, I mean, fantastic professors, right? It was such a great experience. And he sent us to different police stations to do a crime beat story. So they were going to Bel Air and real safe neighborhoods. Makes sense. You're 18, 19 years old. I went up the street. I was in Watts and I was escorted into the station quickly by the detective who agreed to meet with me. And I had the best story. I mean, there were bullet holes on the wall of the station.
wow.
He had lost a partner, which was really devastating to
Mm,
him. And it was
mm.
my introduction to learning to report with compassion, not just with a lens of, I think all police are this, because the riots had happened just prior to that, dating myself. But
Wow, I remember that. Oh my gosh.
so it was a big eye-opening thing. But I just remember how embarrassed and scared that professor was. He said, that was the wrong station. Here I am from Berthoud, Colorado, just waltzing in. And it was a pretty dangerous neighborhood. So I was pretty naive
Try,
and I survived it.
trial by fire.
Yep.
And
Yep.
look, you survived beautifully.
Been in more dangerous situations as a reporter since then.
I can imagine. I have a million questions about that, about journalism and
Yeah.
journalists and what, it can be very dangerous. We hear about it all the time. And
Mhm.
putting yourself, we're talking to you, in dangerous situations. I mean, how did you deal with that?
So when I was making my way in it, it looks glamorous from a distance, expect when you're out in weather, right? That doesn't look so glamorous, but it really is. You're not paid much in these smaller markets. You have to work your way up. So I couldn't just start in Denver. That would have been a great place to live and work. But I started in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which was, not a lot of dangerous stuff going on there. There were city council meetings, things on fire. So a little
Things
boring,
on
but you
fire.
cut your chops there, right? As the cities got bigger, and I went to Oklahoma City and I went to Texas, and Toledo was the last market I worked in twice. A lot more going on. There are gangs, there's shootings, there was the huge opioid epidemic going on,
Yes.
which led to crime. And so while it could be really interesting sometimes you just went into it, and I don't know, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I'm just kind of built that way. So there was just something about, like right now being live, right? I hope I don't have a booger hanging out. I hope I don't, right? There's no redos, right? So it's exciting. You're really engaged and you have to be on. And everything else is just boring in comparison. But if something's about to blow up behind you, or you have an active shooter behind you, you really have to be completely engaged and really trust your photographer and your crew, to be really alert around you. more so now, right? With protests and different things going on, becoming more
Yeah.
dangerous situations, you have to know that your crew has your back, and you have to be passionate about it, because to make the kind of money that most journalists do, you have to really care about your job. We aren't out there making tons of money unless you're at the network. And even that, it's starting to dwindle because everything is so segmented. Like we're here, right? We're not all watching
Mm-hmm.
the main networks anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
it really has to be something you're passionate about, which is covering your community and making sure that they're safe. So you put yourself in danger, or they're informed so that they can vote and make choices. And that was important to me. Once I was a parent, that changed. That was a big reason that I got out. I went to a standoff with someone who was in a domestic altercation, and probably suicidal, but was with the SWAT team, and there was no perimeter that had been set up yet. It was just, we got there very quickly, which you want to be. You want to be first on the air. I did a quick Facebook Live from a safe distance, and then I got in the news vehicle, and they asked me to get out there and do a live shot. I said, no, I have kids. And, I should have valued my own life more, but in my 20s and 30s, I'll do anything, right? Even if the thing's going to blow up
Of
behind.
course.
This time, no, I just said no. And I knew I could be putting my job on the line, but they understood. I said, we're going to wait until the police are here and they've set up a perimeter. It's an active shooter situation. I'm not going to get in there, not going to get in their way, and not going to get in the bullet's way. So got to wait on your live shot. And I guess that just kind of taught me some things in life too, that even moving into the corporate world or anywhere else, sometimes you have to have certain boundaries and say, my health, my family are more important. And that can be really hard. So,
Yeah. Live theater, but much more dangerous.
for
You
sure.
know?
It gets eyeballs, right? But yeah, we put journalists in harm's way, and they put themselves in harm's way, sometimes for good reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now you decided to make a podcast with 3 kids. Are they still young children, or are they a little older?
My youngest is 6, which is why I think I'm crazy. And I thought that last week, because I was just telling you guys, I'll probably write something about this, because I'm being more candid than I thought I'd ever be on Substack, because what else to write about than yourself, right?
Yeah.
But here I am, just excited that I'm booking guests, and had a great one. And then I line up this filmmaker who I met at Mountain Film 2 years ago. And actually, Mountain Film is how I found out about Substack, because so many people were talking about it. Cheryl Strayed is a huge supporter, and goes to Mountain Film every year now. And she was giving a talk. She said, "Find me on Substack," and she was the one saying, "Write the raw stuff, the scary stuff," because that's what people come up to her and talk about. And anyone who's seen the movie Wild or read her book Wild knows she really, she exposes more than I'd be willing to, right?
Yes, she did. She really did.
But yeah, Mountain Film is how I found out about Substack. And then, boy, I got off track, didn't I? What
No, you're good.
about?
No, your kid, you're young.
Oh,
you're
my
young,
little kid,
it's 6. Yeah. I got you.
Okay, so I went enough years to that I kept thinking, well, I got to make a film. So I've shot some film, and I got to try this or try that, and I'm just all over the place. But I have a day job, and I need to provide for my family. I love my job. I love what I do, and it has a lot of meaning. I get to do communications and do it for students who are getting an education, like what launched me. Yeah, I love that. And this has just been a little side project, but they did say that they would do the podcast with me, because Bad Press had premiered at Sundance that year, won an award, and now it's listed in the New York Times as one of the top 10 documentaries to watch. So I was like, I'll just take a chance on Instagram and reach out and say, hey, I met you 2 years ago, the first year this came out. I'm so passionate about free press and Indigenous issues. I've got Indigenous background in my family.
Wow.
And they said, yes. I have 3 kids that have a lot going on. And I messed up the Zoom invitation. It just deleted. And so we ended up, I just totally had to punt on the first one. They had all made other plans. Totally understandable. And I really just got down on myself that night. I was so upset. And I just thought, what am I doing? I am not a reporter anymore. I don't have, people watching my kids. I don't have a nanny anymore. I'm not married. It's like, what am I trying to do? But they graciously accepted, and we recorded it just before Thanksgiving, and it was so good. And I'm so excited to share it. And I have absolutely no idea how to edit it. So I guess the moral of the story is just try, because once you record it,
That's it.
and
That's
you get
it.
people on, and I would love to hear you guys talk next and tell me, from your point of view, because you already launched it. I need encouragement to keep going, because I had people who would edit for me, and I now am like, I got to get these out there, because I already have some great podcasts recorded. And yes, we have AI to tell us how, but oh boy, am I nervous. So you just do it.
Exactly. Well, for me, and this has become, and I think I mentioned it when John and I were talking, is that I'm all for the taking the leap. I've been taking leaps figuratively and literally since I was 14. I used to jump off of buildings for a living.
I
as a
read
stunt
that.
person.
That's terrifying.
So, but this isn't about me. But the thing is, though, I believe in taking the chance, whether you fall flat on your face or you have a success. It's all edifying. It's all information. And you don't know, you don't know unless you try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I mean, I could come out with all these platitudes, but really, I encourage, I'm excited to hear this for you. And even if you say you screwed up, but people are pretty, in this day and age, people can be pretty forgiving when
Yeah.
something like that happens, and understanding. And then who knows if the first one that got kind of messed up would have been as good as the one that actually happened. And you said it was
True.
just wonderful. So I think that what happened was supposed to happen, and the outcome is going to be something you're excited about and proud of.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What about you, John? Did you just say I can do this, or did you have some trepidation about getting?
No, I mean, I didn't have any issues. Like when we started this podcast, it was born out of just one night. Hey, let's jump on.
That's great.
And let's just banter back and forth. We figured out that there was some stuff here, and then we kind of just said there was some synergy. So then what we did was we started with Substack on live, and then we started. I mean, if you look at our first, probably a few Substacks posts,
They're just raw. They're raw.
They're not.
Yeah.
And we don't edit anything. Like I said, this is live, and then we said, we kind of want to make this a little bit more easier, friendly user, especially if we want to bring additional guests and things like that. We want to make sure we have a place we come in. And it evolved week to week. And we're always tweaking. We're always adding. So what you're seeing is what we discussed maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay. Yep.
And
well,
now
and for John's an amazing producer. He's the tech person. I used to produce television, but I was mostly in the how it looks, the production value.
Right.
And he does the nitty gritty, which I really have no interest in. When I do my own, I had a podcast last year, and when I do my own, my son is my editor, and he takes care of all
I
of
love
that.
that.
And we have a synergistic, he's a digital designer, and he's just amazing, designs all my covers, but there's a synergy that what he does, I don't enjoy and am not good at, I don't feel. And what I just bring more additional information, because this is his first rodeo, and he's just come right out of the starting gates, gangbusters. So
I love that. Eventually that might be my son. He's 13 right now, but he calls himself tech support. And he also, I mentioned him in a recent post, because he sits there and he's like, let's look at your stats, Mom. And what are we writing about next? And just my biggest fan. I love it. Recording my voice. He held up this little paper plate and he wrote, "Go, Mom, you're doing great," on the paper plate while I'm recording my voice. And I'm just like, this is awesome. If I had 5 followers on Substack, this is all worth it. Like, it's so cool to see my kids watch it.
But your friend there talked about raw stories, like actual right. And that's what podcast is about. I mean, the glamour of the 60 Minutes and all that, I think that's kind of done. That type of news or that. And I think podcast it still needs to be evolved. The recording and then posting it and editing, that kind of, I think people don't want that anymore. They want to see because of reality TV, they
Yeah.
see it all, right?
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. So in our situation, that's why we do live at 4 o'clock every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to take seasonal breaks here and there for our own sanity. And
Okay.
but that's the thing. When your friend said write raw stuff,
Mhm.
I know my voice didn't come true in probably 3 years after I started Substack.
Oh, really? That long?
And after I wrote 2 books.
Wow.
Well, 2 books that were kind of like fluff and kind of like whatever. It was
Mhm.
just, it wasn't my voice,
Yeah.
but it was more of like rediscovering Vancouver is when I found my voice. You know, there was another one called Whispers, which is a romantic novel that I wrote,
Mhm.
which, I mean, it's just, I just wrote it out of fun and just to see how I can do it. And then it was more experimental and writing creativity.
Yeah.
When I got rediscovered Vancouver and I started writing raw and I started posting them on Substack, that's when things started taking off for me.
Mm.
And that was my baby step forward. And then I, as I kept writing and writing and writing about Substack, and I always wrote, general stuff about the inspiration of others. But when I started writing about earned, not given,
Mm.
and that was another leap, I would say, in my writing. And I got more raw. I got
Mhm.
more because people want a beacon of light. They want to
Mhm.
understand, or they want to see you destroy. They want to see the destruction, chaos, because they enjoy that, and
Yeah.
then they kind of want to see how the aftermath happened.
Mm.
And so in that book, you have a little bit of everything. And I
Yeah.
think the only thing I can advise or recommend people is really write from your heart, but write it
Mm.
from a way that you're not fluffing it. Because once you fluff it, people read it, they see it, they feel it, and they're kind of like, ugh, like, yuck.
Yeah.
But when you write from the rawness, I mean, there's a writer on here who knows how to do that. He does it because he's doing it for the clicks. So if you know how to write, like that's his persuasion. He's writing persuasive writing for intentional clicks. If
Mhm.
you're writing because you're writing for yourself, not for the other things, that's more real. I think so you got to watch who's doing, like, you got to read in between. If you're a good reader and you know how to, you could detect if this consistently always the same way of getting clicks. That's
Mm.
more we call it clickbait, I guess is the
Yeah.
best way of putting it.
Yeah,
There
clickbait.
seems to be like a formula to it. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And then this, if you're writing the way I try to write, it's not clickbait. It's real stories that
Mm.
have true meanings behind it. And then it comes into a book afterwards. So that's how I write. I don't think mine's perfect. And I'm always evolving. I'm always trying to improve. Um, but I mean, like Kaz says, throw it up there. Stop worrying about the editing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
This is
people,
the
I
first time I've
think,
done that. It's kind of crazy. And what a supportive
oh,
community we have here, right? I mean,
oh, absolutely, beyond a
really
shadow of a doubt. And I mean, there are several schools of interest. They want brain wrecks and chaos.
great.
They want to misery loving company
Well, that's why we do
or
live, because they love to see us crash.
train wreck. um, they love misery loves
More
company,
arguing, please.
or they want relatability and they want to
Yeah.
understand that what they're going through, you may have gone through, and how did you come out of it?
Mm.
Which is so we're all kind of swirling around each other. John's experience that he has healed or is on the way to healing may
Mm.
help me or you or someone else, and the same for you. You may be in, oh, I don't know what the heck to do, and the next thing you read something and you're like, that spurred me on to have an idea.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Someone connected with me somehow and I restacked her podcast today here on Substack.
Mhm.
Um, and she says right in the intro, I'm a mom of 3 and she's doing it. So I just thought, well, cool. One more sign from the universe, right? Of someone else is doing it, right? And those baby
Exactly.
steps toward it, and those baby steps of just being brave. And this microphone I'm speaking on, I was sitting in my closet collecting dust for 2 years until that student from USC reached out, and she just gave me some free professional coaching and said, Sarah, I know you were born to tell stories. So even if that means you just go to that film festival and just talk to people, it's scary, but just do it. And who knew 2 years later I would get this microphone out and speak to one of those filmmakers and have them on my podcast. So I'm glad she told me to take the baby steps. They were scary. And I do a lot of self-flagellation if I'm like, it's not done now and I'm not launching and promoting and doing all these things. Sometimes you just got to say, hey, I took some steps. And I also prioritize having a family, and that's okay. That really is
Yeah.
okay. And I'm happy with that choice. So
Very okay.
I remember years ago we were doing we were in an executive meeting, and we were talking about um like re-identifying ourselves, kind of like finding new things, but like
Mhm.
typical corporate BS, like kumbaya stuff. But some stuff stick, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. This one made sense. Sometimes it just has to be good enough.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always go back and work on it, especially in Substack. Like all the stories I post, there's some stories I go look back and I go, geez, why did I write that stupid story? It could have been written differently.
Mhm.
Like my first 2 books, I want to rewrite those completely different in a different voice. But if you don't put it out there, it's just good because it's good enough at the time that you posted it, or good enough to
Mm.
put it up. Because like I said, we go back maybe, I don't know how many episodes now. I think 15, 20 episodes now in this
15,
in
yeah.
this journey of ours. I mean,
Mhm.
if we went to the first one and we posted it up and said, yeah, that was just good enough. Every
Mhm.
single one is just good enough, but they're getting better and better and better, I believe, because Kaz is saying, hey, we need to do this, or I'm saying we need to do that. We're bantering back and forth. We're having these post conversations or pre conversation. We have a quick,
Production,
yeah,
yeah.
we kind of like
Mhm.
go through like the conversation. So we kind of have like a mindset of like what we're planning on doing, but we're always trying to improve, but it's
Right.
always good enough at the time. And Kaz actually makes a good point sometimes. I post it and I walk away because it is what it is. I
Yep,
don't
you
need to
gotta
put,
let it go, right?
I do.
yeah, yeah.
I call it locking it. I've got my fourth book is
Mm,
about to come out, and I write them. I don't reread them. I
mm,
edit them. I edit all the work. Mine are poetry and short stories, which I've been doing forever.
mhm,
And I look at it. It usually just flows out, comma here, change,
mhm.
do a little tweaking there. But then I lock it and I'm like, I'm letting that go out into the world. I'm not revisiting at all. And to John's point also, perfection. What is perfection? What might be imperfect
Mhm.
to you may be perfect to a reader, to a viewer. They may go, that landed totally and changed a part of my life. Or you went, oh, okay. But no, I'm glad it did something for you. And you just keep going, keep going. Like I wouldn't rewrite a book, but I mean, if John feels need to rewrite a book, that's what he needs to do. It's his
Yeah,
process and it's his journey and it's his creativity. So he needs to go for it in whatever way that works for him. You know what I
right.
mean?
I love that. That's so inspiring to me and so inspiring about Substack because I have files and files. They're even pulled up here where I grabbed some of my notes for today of
Oh,
ideas, even, a novel that I've started, but they just stay in that pile or that file. And a lot of fantastic authors. I'm watching a masterclass right now by the author of Moneyball, and
oh,
he keeps files of ideas, and that's great. But if you never put them out there because you're scared or it's not perfect or you have that A student in your head, it won't work. That's why I think this live works for me. Live TV worked for me. You don't
Yeah.
have a job anymore if you don't get on with what you've got because you have a deadline. And you might have a really cobbled together story at that point, especially if you got pulled off on another assignment, but you've got to get on. You've got to write something. That pressure works for me. But Substack is great because people are encouraging overall. It's not I had to completely pull myself off Twitter, which is now X, because it just felt so intense. And it was hard to break myself up because it's live information, and I needed to be on it as a live reporter. I mean, it was just a necessary.
Yes.
I have detoxed from that. It's amazing to me that I rarely read, the New York Times. I still like to open it up on Sunday, but I really try to just get into nature, get with my kids as much as possible, because I fed myself a constant stream of news. And while I think it's so important to be informed, I really
there's a point to be over-informed.
Yeah.
Overreaction and over-emotional.
Over-attached.
Over-attached. One of the things is you become codependent to that type of world, which I mean, I go back to the days of TikTok, which has always was Musical.ly. If you were in the first days, if you were in Musical.ly, which is before 2012, I think. Well, I don't remember when TikTok
dancing. They have dancing.
It was like 2018 or something, like in that time frame they took over. I think even earlier, but prior to that it was all Musical.ly. I think it was before 2016, but it was like, it was fun. It was active. There was a lot of people was just enjoying sharing their expressions, their impressions, their singing, their lip singing. It was really fun. Kids got on there. They were showing their dance. It was like, but it was 30 seconds of whatever they were doing. They were just having fun. And then there was also a leadership board. Like people showed leadership boards. Like it wasn't driven on current events 24/7 like it is today. Same thing with X. It's 24/7 current events. Like it doesn't go away. You can't get away from it.
Or them selling you something.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. We're all selling something.
Well, TikTok is 24/7 selling all day long.
Buy my cup. Buy my cup.
But that's but my point is, when I come to Substack, I don't want that. I want nothing to do with it. I don't care. And the beauty of this is a lot of people have that same mindset in Substack.
Right.
Yes.
Because they all feel that they had enough of that world and they want to please. Now they're creeping in here somehow or another. They're creeping in. And I don't know why they think this is the best platform for that, because there's other platforms they can do it, but they're
opportunistic. It's just opportunistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, like for me, I connect with a lot of great people, like Kaz. There's a couple, and there's another guy on here that we connected because we're both Italians. We're both from the northern region.
Okay. Yeah.
And I find out he's Muslim, and also he's a Christian Muslim, but he became more Muslim. But his grandparents came from that region, and there is a connection with the Jewish connection. The Second World War, and if because of him, Hassan, I think he's listening to this. He had asked me. I started asking questions to my family, and one of the things I learned, and this is because of Substack, I got to learn more about my family heritage.
Wow.
Driven that, and there's a huge story behind this, and the coincidences was his grandfather was captured by the Germans because he was smuggling the Jews into the Switzerland so they can escape.
Wow.
He was captured, and a priest and his grandmother went there to save him and to basically rescue him, and his band of brothers basically were hung. But he was sent to a concentration camp somewhere else. And on my side, which I didn't know about this because my uncle was telling me the story, and I was repeating this to Hassan, and he was like, and we have a Google map thing. We're posting things on there. We're communicating back and forth.
Wow.
And that's the creativity part of this. And so I was telling this story. I says, my grandfather got his butt kicked because they thought he killed a Nazi German officer. And he goes, do you understand what just happened here? I said, what do you mean? He says, your grandfather was basically put in prison, beaten up for killing a Nazi, and your grandmother and a priest went and saved him. I says, do you see the parallel stories here? I said, without Substack, that would never have happened.
You would have never known.
And that's the importance of why I think what we do here on Substack is
Mhm.
sharing our stories, the rawness, so that people can also connect with us, but also can share other stories that are very similar. And then now that sparked off a huge project of ours. Like
That's so cool.
we're going down a huge, yeah, where like he works for CBC or used to work for CBC. So he has that journalistic background
Mhm.
and he has all that. So it's like he understands that world more than I do.
Right.
And now we're trying to build a documentary. We're kind of like we're working
That's
on that
great.
whole path, which I've never done before. And it's kind of like cool. So yeah,
That's so exciting.
yeah. So I'm
Very
just
cool.
saying this because it starts with small, but then it can go into a huge direction that you've never thought, and you
Mhm.
learn more about who you are, what you're about, and
Right.
that's the beauty of Substack. And I think
Yeah.
that's what social media should be about. That's how I
Mm.
look at it. So
Well,
I
it's
hope
not
it
just
stays that
follow
way.
me, follow you. It's
Right.
not
yeah,
follow me, follow you.
no,
Let me amass 1 million followers
Mhm.
and subscribers and all of that.
Mhm.
There's actual real substance to it. And that's what
Yeah.
I love. And I think you landing here is probably going to be, is being so beneficial to you and
Oh,
to
it has.
express yourself.
It
Yeah.
has. Yeah. And especially recently because um it didn't it didn't last as long as I thought, but I had this moment of caution of I'm like, I'm not ready to share my health journey right now. I was diagnosed with breast cancer
Uh,
this summer. And
oof.
I just started following women who um, had a much harder journey than I've had. I'm really grateful that, I caught it so soon, but I was
Oh,
so
it's
encouraged by
so good to
them.
hear.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. But it's terrifying, right? I'm in my 40s, I have 3 kids, one of them that's quite young. And yeah, I had all these plans happening and I'm writing just, oh, here's my journey and here's where I'm going. And I'm so excited. And just
Mhm.
boom, it hit me. And I thought, well, so far I've been sharing really openly. And I have family following me and it is a personal thing. Um, but I was so encouraged by the connections I made on here with other women who just really boldly shared their journey that I thought I'm just going to put it out there. And it's been so helpful for me to just write about it. And I had to start asking myself, why? Is
Mm.
there a stigma? What made me feel like I can't share it? Um, I'm still asking myself that, but it's been a really good journey for me to put it out there and just not all the details, but just connecting with some really special people on here saying, "Yeah, I'm scared too, and I don't know what's next, and just I appreciate you writing about it and incorporating it because I'm feeling better now, but
That's
couldn't do
good.
the things I wanted to do in the meantime, and it's frustrating, and it's part of my journey, and maybe eventually that becomes my book, not the book I wanted, but it's the book I'm in, right?
well,
So,
thank you for
Exactly.
sharing
That's an
that. That
yeah,
amazing share. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
But I want to
Oh,
ask you.
I'm really honored. Thank you. That's was
yeah.
really,
I mean, I'm still in it. I've got, radiation
are
treatments
you?
coming next week, but
Oh,
it's,
oh,
to do this in the middle of it is just pure joy because you need normalcy and you need to see that, hey, this is the last step in the treatment and I've got these bright things on the other side, and I think other
yeah.
people need to hear that who might be facing that or aren't quite sure what's gonna happen next.
So you
Well,
having
you're not sharing for the shock value or for the click value or for the accumulation value. You're sharing because this is your experience and there are other women out, too many other women out there who are going through this at the same time you're going through it.
Mhm.
So you are being a beacon more than you're being woe is me and follow me because I need to amass all these people. You're actually coming from a place of compassion and someone is or many people are going to get a lot from what you share and feel like there's nothing worse than having a health issue and feeling completely alone.
And that's what it is. Thank you. And I think you kind of put some words to where my hesitation was. I was in a very public position for a lot of years, and I became very protective of my family, particularly my kids. So I'm not gonna show their
Mm,
pictures publicly. I'm not going to talk
Good for
about their
you.
names. Because yeah, when you're in the public eye for a while, it really is all about you. That's really fun in your 20s and 30s. I'm not going to lie. For your ego, that feels great, right? It's much better than getting an A on your paper. It's people recognizing you in the grocery store, even if it's just Cheyenne, Wyoming. It's exciting. But then as you get older, you realize, you know what, this actually has an impact. And I'm really proud of the Emmy nominations because it's for veterans who were wounded or who have
Oh, wow.
ongoing mental health issues. And really it crippled their life, but they turned it around and now they're inspiring other people. And when you find that meaning behind it, it's so important. I'm really comfortable showcasing other people. And yes, I love being on TV. That's a lot of fun. But really, I got on Substack wanting to tell other people's stories, but I'm not in those newsrooms anymore. So I thought, nobody knows who I am. So I need to just kind of talk about me so they get to know who I am. And that's been the hardest thing I've done. And I was thinking of Amy Robach. I met her when I was on the Today Show. It was pretty cool. And that was before she was diagnosed pretty much on live TV, getting a mammogram. And I looked her up when I was first diagnosed in August. And I thought, I'm looking up her story because I need to know what happened. I'm watching more closely now. I didn't think this was going to be me. And I hate it. And I'm really glad I'm not on the air while it's happening. But I'm talking about it now because that helped me. And Robin on GMA, that helped me through this. And so, yeah, I don't want to write about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be going through it. I'd rather go hide in a hole and be like, I don't have it, right? But there's other people who feel that way. And 1 in every 8 women gets some form of breast cancer. So it's important, I think, for people to know they're not alone. And I have a friend who's losing her hair in chemo, and that's not my prognosis. So I'm grateful that I can talk about it and not have as hard of a time healing from it. So.
And you said you caught it early. So that's a
I
really
did.
important point.
Feeling a cyst that was not cancerous. I would have missed it for another year. So thank God it saved my life. Yeah. They would have missed it on mammogram. So diagnostic ultrasound caught it. And got it out. Yeah. So
that's huge.
But yeah, I found a community here that has been supportive, and I was scared. And when I wrote about it, I didn't know how people would respond, but they've reached out privately and answered questions that I had who are further down the road. And that's cool to have a safe space, especially after seeing the way that people behaved on Facebook Lives when I was on the air or Instagram. It gets real creepy and real weird. and not that can't happen here, but I'm really grateful for a platform like Substack where we can share our stories. And just like the person who told me about it, who's writing on it, he was a journalist here in town. He's like, it's a pretty supportive community. I didn't really believe him, but here we are. And you both are examples of it.
John can attest to this fact, and I've seen it with other people, is that it's kind of, I don't want to say self-policed, but people will say when someone gets on and is a troll or a bully or really negative or a few other things, they're like, no, we don't want that here. This is not the platform. Go to X, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, but stay off of our platform because we have a bigger reason and a more important reason to be here. And that garbage needs to just go. And people, I've seen people chased off. I know, John, we've discussed a few times when you or I have come up against something that's kind of nefarious. How we're like,
are they just trying to get things started that are in a negative track? Yeah. How do you?
Well, they disguise themselves in different ways. I mean, number one, they'll come on here and they will love bomb you, right?
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, what the hell is all that about? And then then you're nobody the next day. Well, that's not how you build a community. You build a community through conversations, discussions, challenges. Yes, you may disagree on something, but how do you build the bridges up? How do you, like right now, we're so more important to blow things up. Let's blow everything up.
Right.
But you can only blow so much until you isolate yourself in a silo. Then there's no one to talk to other than yourself. That's what happens in these other platforms. So, I mean, my political view, I'm sure will is very different than the majority of my followers. You know, I know that for a fact, because if I say what I really think about certain things, they're going to disagree and they're going to get mad at me, and I don't want that. And not that my
I
political.
don't think a majority of your followers, John, but I think,
No,
like
but I don't want to become the political identity of that.
no,
Right.
no,
Especially in
no.
this climate, I think
Yeah.
it isolates us, and I think it's a shame because I love politics, but I feel
Me
the
too.
same. I don't want to talk a lot about it sometimes because I don't want to damage relationships.
I'm a
It's hard.
I'm a political science and a major history degree
So you
right
probably
here.
want to talk about it.
Right
You know,
there, right
I
there.
don't want to talk. I'm done with it. It's just gotten to the point where
We've got
everybody's in here.
deeper things
I'm
to
done.
do. We've got a deeper purpose here,
I like that.
and much deeper purpose,
Yes. So,
whether,
yeah,
yeah.
and I'm not, and I don't want to jump on the pot, but you're right. We could. There's times to talk about it, and there's times, and this is not the. This is a talking about personal growth. It's about how do we become
Yes.
better as people.
Mm.
And how do we bridge these conversations and knock down these walls that people have? And you having this symptom, like this unfortunate situation. I mean, you know, basically talking about it on our podcast is thank you. That's huge.
Blow me away. Thank
I
you.
wouldn't thought I would have a month ago. It really
Yeah.
was starting to write about it, hearing in the response. Yeah.
And the other thing you talked about is your children protecting your identity. You're protecting, and yes, that's
Their
important.
identity. Yeah.
We don't want to do that. And you know, we're all private citizens per se, and yes, we choose to be a little bit public here, but we don't want to become public in the sense to be sabotaged or be doxxed or how things are going.
Yeah.
But there was a point where you said that, you know, you discovered in August, and then you kind of like either stepped away or kind of like took a back seat, and you kind of like
Marinated.
I guess that moment was like, and I'm using my personal experience because I knew this would happen to me. It's like, why bother?
Yeah.
Was it what am I doing? Why, if you're gonna take this from me, then what the fuck? Excuse my language. And I was in a depress for a couple months. And it took a while to get through that.
Yeah.
Was that sort of your experience as well? Or what was your experience, I should ask?
Well, you never have to excuse your language because I've worked in a newsroom, and so my
Yeah, but the last time I used the word, he said, "This isn't the Joe Rogan show." So,
I'm not brave enough to use it on a platform yet, but oh boy, was I using it a lot when I got diagnosed. In fact, I've gotten through it with humor and dark humor and a lot of crying.
Yes, yes.
And I told my aunts right away, you know, when I found out, I was like, so I'm going to tell my doctors right away that the F word's on the table and I'm going to use it. So that's just how I'm getting through it. Because,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
WTF,
Absolutely.
what is going on here? Stopping me in my tracks. No, thank you. Right? Like life throws enough at you. Don't think I want to deal with this, but we don't get to pick. Right. And so, I was pretty upset. It was kind of definitely a why me moment. But just like when I had to walk through a separation and divorce during COVID, I didn't have the luxury. I hate to say luxury because it's tough, you know, when you're in those spots and when you're in, like, I've been through deep grief, you know, losing people in my life. I didn't have the luxury of being able to just be alone and really sit in it. So it comes out later and you got to deal with it later. But at that time I had a baby, and at this time I had my kid's first week of school. So when the day I found out, I had to hold it together and, you know, go to the ceremony, the little rose ceremony, which is really sweet, where they welcome first graders. And I had to smile. And I didn't tell any other parents at that point. I told Substack before I told a lot of parents from school. And then I realized I'm going to have to tell some because I actually am going to need some help. And some of those parents came over and cleaned my house. And that's really rewarding. And some of those parents brought meals and coworkers brought meals. And I hate that because I am an oldest child and an independent person and a mom, right? And you don't want to let anyone help, but it's Yeah, the moment didn't last as long as I thought, but I think a lot of it is because I already was putting some things into practice that I had no idea how much I was gonna need. It included a lot of yoga and meditation, even just listening to meditations because I have a real monkey mind, and I can't just sit quietly because then I'll worry and I'll spin and I'll ruminate. So, I was listening to a lot of, meditations, even like a self-healing meditation, and I thought, "Well, this is hokey," and then I started listening to it, mad at it, and I tell you what, like, that mind-body connection is real because no, I was mad, but I made myself listen to it just so I could fall asleep,
Mm.
and I just listened to it over and over again. As Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it is
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, "I don't know what I think," and my friends who told me about it, I'm like, "Whatever," but it's soothing. His voice is very soothing, and I can't sleep,
It
so
is.
instead of listening to a news podcast and having nightmares, I will listen to this, and, I listened to that all the way through, and, it helped calm me down. I really believe it helped my body get through surgery better. I had joined a workout group at work, and I was not super active. I mean, I've always done yoga since I was 20, so many, many years,
Mm.
which has really helped me be in touch with my body and calm down and breathe and bring down anxiety. But I had never been really working my body out. And the radiologist told me, he said, "You're going to do so much better through this round of treatments because you're working out and keep doing it. You know, lift weights all the way through it. You're going to do so much better." So thank God I said yes to things that scared me. I thought it was going to be this
Mm.
judgmental group and I was going to be the worst person in there, but a lot of them were older than me, and you just go at your own pace. And after surgery, I had to just sit there a couple times, but I wanted that community, and that was humbling. But I had to just go in there and sit and not do the exercises. You know, and that's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard when you feel like you're really young and strong and something's really wrong. Um, but I really loved what we have amazing support at this cancer center here, and they give you counseling, and it's specifically for cancer patients. So they really know what they're talking about. And I told her, I said, the hardest part of this is like, here I am, like I had all these things going, right? I finally got it going. I wasn't like feeling sorry for myself. I'm too busy and I can't storytell anymore. I'm doing it. And now
Yeah.
it's like coming to a screeching halt. And I said, I don't feel sick. And she said, "'Cause you're not." She said, "You're healthy and you kept yourself healthy and you are healthy." And I just sobbed in her office because my whole
Mm.
mindset was, I'm sick. Life
Mm.
stopped. My body's sick. This doesn't make sense. And the more I thought that way, the more fearful I became, the more fight or flight kicked in.
Mm.
Um, and my oncologist just put it really well. She said, "The lion isn't chasing you anymore." And I wrote about that in my post. I thought that was so profound.
Wow.
That's so good.
She said, "You right now, the reason that you're feeling so tired and pretty, like you said, John, pretty close to depressed is you're just depleted from the adrenaline. You had to run and go to I feel like August was yesterday. I can't believe Christmas is almost here because they put you on this train of doctor's appointments that are still going.
Yeah.
And thank God they're there, but you don't have time to sit and think and process. And I just crashed. I just crashed out. And I'm so glad they had the support there for me because frankly, no one, no matter how much they care about you, if they haven't gone through this, they can't support you, or you do start saying bad words. You're like, you don't know, right? But these people really know what they're talking about. And they're just like, yeah, you can calm down now. You can, it actually is over. Like you don't have cancer anymore. And I'm like, well, that's weird because it feels like yesterday I did. And now it's all about how do we help it not come back?
So your story is very similar to a lot of people's stories. It's self-discovery, and it
Yeah.
happens. And I'll give you a quick story about mine.
Yeah.
Mine was a bike accident on Thanksgiving Day 4
Oh,
years ago. It was a beautiful ride to the hospital. Met a lot of new people that I didn't want to meet.
Mm,
Uh,
I'm sure.
I never wanted to meet you people.
and
Yeah.
it was the most bumpiest ride possible.
Oh.
And I broke my shoulder, bruised
Mm.
head and don't, and they had to go through the MRI, and that's when they discovered a tumor on my kidney
Mm.
Oh.
and the aneurysm in my heart.
Wow.
So I'm blessed for that accident.
Wow.
So looking back, that was probably what saved me.
Mm.
So look at it as an opportunity of a blessing, because now it
Mm.
gives you a chance to do what you want to do, and now you have more of a purpose of doing it,
Mm.
not just not out of flattery, not out of like whatever. You got now meaning behind it. It's
Mm.
more of a legacy for your children to know more about mom and her things. I mean, that's what you're writing for. You're not writing for anybody else. You're writing for them so they understand that even through challenges, you're going to survive it
Mm.
regardless. And however that looks like, you're still a survivor. Like my father, when he passed away, I mean, he had his 4-stage cancer. And the one thing
Mm.
he taught me was courage. Not
Mm.
the courage you see like a hero that jumps and does all that. I mean, just the courage to know you're going to die any moment.
Yeah.
That's courage.
Mhm.
So take this as an opportunity, not as a, and that's why I asked you that question. Like I remember I was during COVID. I was home, but I was
Mm.
no family, nothing. I had
Wow.
myself and a couple people that would check in on me once in a while. Broken shoulder, all that.
Mm.
Um, but I had time to sit on it, and
Mm.
that's when I started writing. That's
Wow.
when I started becoming more of a writer, and I took initiative. And that's when I started Substack and started
Mm.
to write stories, and then that's just started to evolve, and that's where you can do the same thing too. I'm
Mm.
obviously you're a better position and support, and that's awesome. So
Thanks
I
for sharing that. I
yeah.
wonder, did you feel like it poured out faster or felt different or felt deeper once you started writing after that, or did that take some time?
It took some time to write it, but now I can write about it now in a sense that
Mm.
like I said, I found my voice after 2 years of that. It
Mm.
took me a while to find my voice. But when I found my voice, that's when I started to write about it. I mean, it just flew,
Yeah.
and that's where when I write, it could be like a stupid concept, like or a stupid situation where a memory of something, and I will have a flood of emotions about it, and that's when I write about it, and I just
Mm. Mm.
boom, and it's just
Mm.
it's like it's almost like like I don't write in pieces, I write in moments, if that makes sense.
No, it does, because that's what I do. It's
Yeah,
it's gonna come out
yeah,
or it's gonna stay a piece,
yeah,
probably. Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
It's
So
really
just
powerful.
yeah, I mean, we all have stories, some
Yeah.
good, some bad, some ugly. No one's
Mhm.
perfect in this world. Um, we just got to understand that, we have our struggles. And as long as we learn to help each other along the way and lift each other, encourage other people, maybe we change. Maybe it's just a small little change in all of our attitudes
Mm.
and the way we go about life. But maybe maybe it gets a lot more, how you call it? It just improves our quality of life if we know what our truly meaning our life is. Because once you know what the fear is, I mean, once you get there, you're like, okay,
Mhm.
holy
Okay.
shit, this is serious shit. Like I could be done and dead within a
Yeah.
moment. I mean, talk about the surgeries that I had. I mean, it was very invasive,
Mm.
very intrusive.
Mm.
I mean, when I was sitting there watching, the guy goes, "Yeah, just in case if something happens, you have a 95% chance of survival, or 8% chance." Like it was like one of those. You mean I got 5%? Yeah, we're gonna go into your kidney, kind of like taking the knob off and
Wow.
kind of doing this, and we're gonna adjust this, we're gonna do this, and we don't know if it's gonna be. We'll know it's gonna work, but we don't know what the reaction will be afterwards. So yeah, talking about taking a risk
Mhm.
or a chance. I mean, that's when you start realizing that's when peace becomes a lot more important in your life,
Mm.
and the distractions and the obstacles that always are the distractions, and they're just nonsense. That's why you probably are tired of politics, because I'm the same boat. because we know
Yeah.
that's a distraction. We know that's not fulfilling. We know that has no purpose. We know that's the right way to live. We can only control what we have in the middle, and that's it. And if we continue to chase things that don't mean anything to us, we look back at our legacy and say, what did I do? And I look back maybe 40 years of my time prior to that moment. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a couple aha moments before that. And I go, what did I do to really leave a legacy that's meaningful? Yes, I won awards. Yes, I got this. But that's just bullshit. It means nothing. It's fake. It's nothing. What meaningful thing have I done to make things better for myself and people around me?
That's such an important question to
And
ask.
that's why Positive Pen exists. If you want to get down to the nuts of it.
And I love that because you're amplifying that here. And we need to, I think, quiet down the arguing more right now and see our shared humanity and our shared experiences. And we can only do that by being vulnerable. And the more that I'm vulnerable, the more courageous I become. And as uncomfortable as it is to like be the story, right? Maybe after I've let people in, they're going to want to hear the stories I'm telling about other people more. That's my
wow. I'm telling you after this, you are.
Definitely. Well, that also leads me to this question, and you've touched on it a couple of times, is what was the first action you took when you realized I am moving forward? I'm moving forward.
First, buying this microphone that sat in a box for 2 months. And now I'm using it.
And now she's using it. Yeah.
I had to get a pep talk from ChatGPT. I just started to use it, and I went on this my own little vacation while my kids were with their dad over the summer. And I took myself to an Airbnb on this little mini vineyard in California. It was just beautiful.
Oh,
and
nice.
I visited a friend there too, but I stayed out of the city, out of San Diego. And I'm just talking to it, and I'm like, it's in the box. Like, it's still in the box. And then I had an excuse because I didn't have an adapter to my Mac. So I'm like, I'm not doing the podcast. I'm here and I'm not doing it. And he's like, Sarah, here's what you're going to do. In the, good chipper voice I gave my ChatGPT, you're going to go to Target and you're going to get this kind of adapter. And I'm like, dang it. Yeah. And you're going to plug that in and you're going to sit down and you're going to start recording your story. And I'm going to help you write a script and you're going to do it. And I recorded it. That might be my first episode, is me sitting there saying, this is my first step. This is an imperfect AI assisted script, admittedly, to sit down and record something. Because if it was in my perfect voice, perfectly edited at the perfect time with the perfect technical, it's never going to happen. And, I listened to it back and I went, oh God, this feels like home. This feels like back in the edit bays when I would go back and lay my voice down, and I just felt at home. And I felt that
if
more.
not now, when? And if not now, when?
Right.
20 years from now, 15, the kids are grown and they're out of the house and blah, da, 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 when you could have been doing it all this time.
Yeah, and it's going to take off slow probably, if it takes off at all. And I had to just accept that. And coming from a really just like pushing myself background, this doesn't have to look like my prior career. I was lucky to have that, but no one's saying this needs to be a big hit. I don't want it to be, honestly, because I needed to take off slowly. I'm a mom and I'm doing things, and that's why I'm recording a bunch and batching them, and hopefully my guests will be patient. And we'll roll it out a little bit at a time and maybe build community around it.
That's so smart.
Maybe
that's smart.
Maybe that's what it's supposed to be right now. And I'm saying that it sounds wonderful. Like you said, platitudes. There's my platitude. But the honest inside me is, I need to get out there and make this an amazing thing, or don't do it at all. But that'll keep you stuck and you won't take that step.
Yeah. And there's so much exterior pressure. I mean, all we hear as go viral, be an influencer, be famous, get 1 million followers. And, if that happens, great. But that means you're going to have a staff and all sorts of other things, an assistant and all, and if it doesn't happen, if it's you have a small following, medium following, or whatever, I still look at it as a success because you took the
Mm.
chance, you leaped, which I'm all for. And I have a feeling you're going to do quite well. I really do.
Thanks. So I feel a lot of encouragement, and I could never take a literal leap like you. I'm so afraid of heights. And I mean, I know people who want to skydive. I'm like, more power to you. Enjoy. I bet that is such an adrenaline rush.
I
When
want
I
to
read
swim
that,
with
I'm like, good for
sharks,
her.
skydive, swim with sharks. I
Wow.
used to hang out with alligators.
Amazing.
It's yeah, yeah,
Terrifying
but
to me. Absolutely terrifying. I don't need that terror in my life, but
but there are
I'm
probably
so
things
in
that you've
admiration for
done.
you.
Bullets flying, no, thank you. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
I
I
knew.
know. Touche.
I've worked with blanks, but and blanks
Yeah.
can hurt you, but
Yeah.
the real thing, hard pass, really the hardest of
Yeah.
passes.
Isn't that strange how you and I can compartmentalize different things for the work we were doing? But me,
Yeah.
sharks, even if I had a cage around me, no, never.
Cages are more dangerous than not being in a cage.
Yeah.
Most of the time now it's you're all on a rope and a shark sees you as a wall when you're all together. So many
Wow.
sharks have jumped into cages and the shark has
Oh,
been really badly injured. The person has been injured. No way would I ever
wow.
get into a
Oh,
cage.
wow. I didn't know
Wow.
that.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
You have some amazing stories.
Well,
Merits a
I
book
mean,
in
I keep,
themselves.
like I said, I'm kind of somebody just dubbed me not too long ago the
Yeah.
take the leap gal. And I'm like, I accept if that's what
Yeah.
all this is culminated into,
Mm.
is that I can talk about whether I'm still doing it or not and saying, hey, go for it. You might fail miserably, but you know what? It's just as edifying for me as
Yeah.
success. And everybody says success. It's got to be monetary success. It's got to be critical success. It's got to be viewer success. You've got to just be explode. And I look at success as being as having very many different definitions for me. Success doesn't have to be this grandiose thing that
Right.
we are being spoon fed that it must be.
Right. I
I don't
think that
feel
that
that way at
that
all.
doesn't benefit any of us, right? Because it's external pressure and even internal pressure that we don't need. And what
Who
is
can
the
live up to it?
yeah, like
Can
John
any
said,
of
where's
us
the
live up to
purpose?
it?
Yeah.
Can any of us
Well,
live up to these lofty goals that we've been told are the only definition for making it?
Right.
well,
Hogwash.
for us, for Kaz and I, this podcast is not. We're not looking for glory. We're actually. I mean, don't be wrong. We would like more viewers. We would like to get more out there. That's because I think the
And it's
story.
happening
It's
incrementally.
but but what we're more worried about is making sure that the story is being told.
Mm.
Like there's a reason why we have stories, soul work, and Substack, because they're the three pillars of this podcast. Which, if you think about the Positive Pen, Substack is about those things.
Right.
And but we wanted an audio part or a visual part where people got to see the stories. I mean, next year, what we're planning on doing, or what I plan on doing, is writing the story of our guests of the day. So when 4 o'clock hits, someone got a summary, and then we can talk, regurgitate, but kind of like cover some of the stuff maybe,
Yeah, discuss
and,
it.
and
Mhm.
discuss it. And then now you have an audio, and you have a hard copy of it. But the idea but we're working towards that. So it doesn't have to be perfect. That's
Right.
number one. Number two, we're not looking to become rich out of this, because obviously Substack is not monetizing anything. So we're doing this for the love of it.
Yeah,
Really,
absolutely.
that's what it comes down to. We love talking to people.
Mhm.
Our approach to this is dinner table discussion, so it can go in different directions, even though we have some type of boundaries what we want to talk about.
Framework, yeah.
But the idea is that we want this to be as comfortable as possible for everybody, but also people learn something. That's really what we're trying to accomplish here. And so when you talk about stagnation type mindset, I mean, I met some people that would sit on the couch and say all these things must must line up, and 1111 must appear 24 times a day.
And every planet must be in a row. Well, you've missed that. So that
And the
happened a
sun
while
should
ago.
never set. And, and
Well,
then
those numbers have appeared and different things have happened pushing me towards it, so I have no excuse. Like the universe is literally being like, do it.
I see 1111 all the time, but I also see 2222. So someone define
Right.
that for me.
But I hear what you're saying, John. It's like if it isn't
I'm
perfectly
waiting.
aligned, I'm not leaving this.
Yeah.
if I don't have the financial
Yeah.
thing, if I don't have this, I don't have the right backing, I'm not going to jump into it.
Right.
Well, I mean, there's people who say, like, I have a philosophy of if I got 40%, then I should be good enough to start making decisions to move forward. Do a little bit of basic research, kind of understand it, and kind of move forward. And then sometimes it's most of the gut reaction. Sometimes you act emotionally, and sometimes you act with a gut. Meaning, I think gut's more of like your intuitions rather than your emotions. There's a logic decision. I think there's a gut decision, and I think there's an emotional decision. And sometimes most of us react emotionally, and that's why we fail. And then we like, why did we do that? Oh, because I was irrational. I didn't do this. And then you jump in the more logical point where you want everything to line up to the point where ChatGPT goes nuts on you because it's like saying, well, what are you doing here?
It's like you've overthought it enough.
You're on the
Let the microphone off and go get the right adapter.
And then it just hallucinates. It's going, okay, I'm going to hallucinate an answer for you because I have no clue what direction you're going in. I'm just going to pull from the ethers and everything I've learned.
Well, I had to admit that because it took a conversation with an inanimate object for me to just hit record.
But that is funny. But no, and then
whatever it took, you're here.
But the intuition or the gut reaction was to talk about your story, which was, I'm sure it was percolating for a long time, and I guess you felt comfortable saying that, which we appreciate. Thank you. But that was a gut that I think most writers and most people who are doing podcasts need to do more of. And that's my point. And that's why I say that's the reason why Positive Ed exists, is because of the gut reaction of telling stories the way you want to tell stories that is needed for other people to learn. And hopefully, I love the soup book. I love the soup stories, the soup book stories of those series, Barry.
Oh, Chicken Soup for the Soul and all that. Yeah.
That was like huge. That was huge.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what we're doing, right? We're all kind of sharing our personal things, and that is soup for the soul, right? It's exactly. Kind of it's a balm when you hear that you're not alone in something that felt very isolating and very scary. And so, John, by sharing your accident and your diagnosis, then someone else feels seen, and even if they never share their story publicly, they know that they're not alone in that. And that means a lot, particularly if you're living alone or you're not connected to family, or, for a long time, I lived far away from my extended network. And this is a wonderful platform and time that we live in where we can all be connected in this way.
And we need to protect it. Protect this sphere here.
I hope we do.
Love it up.
It's really lovely right now. And I'm grateful that, the people who started it have so far protected most of it. And I'm not seeing a bunch of ads in my face. I'm seeing people who are like-minded and connecting with people like you. And what an honor, to have people reach out and say, I want to talk to you. And it's like, I'm just doing a normal job now, nothing in particular, right? But we all have connections that we didn't even know about until we started talking. I knew a little bit from reading some of your posts, but had no idea we had so much in common, and we live in different parts of the country. So blessing and a curse, right? That we have this constant information coming in, but I'm connected with the most extraordinary people now because of this platform and our technology. And I'm grateful for that because it gives us a larger community. And I say audience, but isn't it neat that we're saying community so much, right? Because you can optimize for audience and likes, and what does that really mean? But if you have a community, that's something to build on, right?
Well, think about the collaboration.
Yeah.
You have, I'm going to just say this on the air. So you have a background in journalism and you have some connections in the documentary. Kaz as well. Hazen and I were working on a document. We don't have that background, but say we decided to make this documentary together. I mean, I'm not saying that's possible, but that's a potential, right? And we would never have done that without Substack.
Mm,
You know,
And you bring
so
in people who know more than you do.
think
I
about
mean,
the
I don't care
network.
how.
Think about the
Yep.
network of people in this whole thing. You know, I think that's
Reach
where
out.
I
Reach
think
out.
that's the power of Substack.
yeah,
Yep.
it's exciting.
And I keep telling this story about YouTube in the early days. There was a group of 5 of them. They created a production team, and their production team basically was consist of 5 of them. And they worked independently, so they had their own YouTube channel, but they also collaborated a lot of times on, mob dances, things like that. They were doing a lot of funny stuff, skits, and Disney came in and bought them out, the production team. They're the production company. They're all millionaires, and they don't do any more YouTubes. I mean, you rarely see them now on YouTube. And the last time you see them is probably posted almost 20 years ago. I mean, that's the power of social media. A power of social media, but also a power of community, but also collaborating and not taking advantage, but you help each other along the way, where you can work with each other's resources and maybe help each other that could, help potentially move someone along the way. And that's the beauty of Substack. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and as you're growing, you can help other people to grow, have a voice. And I got on thinking, I'd have 5 family members following it, and I could just have this online fun little thing. And I just was absolutely thrilled. I don't have a ton of subscribers right now, but that's okay. It just was like, when I hit 100 and then when I hit 200, I'm like, well, why? How? Especially when there was this gap when I was dealing with health issues. I'm like, what's happening? Why is it growing? I love that there is an organic thing here where you are starting to, you get growth by supporting other people and by making genuine comments on people's work and promoting them. And that's the kind of ecosystem I like to see. Because even going back into journalism after 10 years, which few people get to do, I had the opportunity to go be a news anchor again after 10 years. The landscape had really changed, and they were hiring broadcasters not based on their credentials, but more on their followers on social media. And that required, quite frankly, dressing in a way I didn't want to dress and posing in a way I did not want to pose. And I had a daughter, and I was like, is this the direction I want to go? That pressure was not on men, but it was on women to be younger and dress more provocatively. And that's not my style. I was a professional, and I thought, if I'm not going to 60 Minutes, I think I'd rather be with my kids right now. And it was hard. I hated leaving it. You have to do that all the time, but you have to think about what you value in life. And part of that sleep and peace and keeping your values and finding other ways. So thank goodness for podcasts. What the Diary of the CEO, did that not start in his kitchen or at his kitchen table? I think he said in an episode recently, and now it's one of the biggest podcasts. He's a very talented interviewer, but people don't have those barriers anymore. And I had to quit making excuses. It's like, I went to journalism school, and then I went and I shopped around my, back then, resume tape and then resume CD, right? It wasn't websites. And you really had to hustle your way up, and then you had to do it. I don't. We all have a microphone now. So you finally just, hey, it might stay at my kitchen table, and then it might be a little something. Who knows?
Well, you emphasize something really important that I don't think a lot of people understand in social media, especially on Instagram and probably TikTok, probably one of those areas where they just put it all out there. OnlyFans is a prime example where now they're just putting it out there.
Yeah.
You said about your daughter. I have a daughter, and I want to be the example of what a woman takes to be a woman, I guess, is, if I may say that. And, I'm a father, and I have a daughter as well. And you're talking about your legacy. And one of the things I came across this weekend was a video of, Laverne and Shirley, Squiggy and...
Oh, yeah. I remember them. Yeah.
Lenny and Squiggy, Laverne and Shirley. Yeah.
Well, there's a big backstory about that, which is kind of cool, which I may write. But anyways, his daughter, Squiggy, is now passed on. I don't know if you knew that. He passed on years ago, and she misses him, like daughter misses her father.
Hmm.
And she's recounting a lot of these stories and all that. And she goes, but when I miss my father, I can go back on YouTube and he's on there forever.
Oh, wow.
And it feels like he's right there.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
but imagine if he wasn't, like, let's say if he was doing adult films. I mean, yeah, my daughter's going to go and watch me perform. But think about that. That's a concept that I don't want my daughter ever to think of.
And I don't want to say I'm shaming anyone who dress the way you want to dress and embrace, feeling sexy and that type of thing. But for me, it was really about telling stories. And I felt like that was a distraction. If you want to have an Instagram following for that,
and you want to have an OnlyFans account,
go for it. I hope you're safe.
You want to do,
and you're safe about it because there's strangers out there. But for me and my daughter, I want my daughter to be judged. She's a beautiful young lady.
Yeah.
But I want her to be judged on her character and her strength and her ability to do what she wants to do. And I felt like if I just keep trying to fit this mold to become a main anchor in this day and age, because that's the demand, is to have this person to look at to the side of the experienced older anchor.
Yeah.
That's not the direction I want to go. Not every newsroom is that way, but some newsrooms are being shaped that way. And we as consumers have power in that. We can demand that we want more substance.
Yeah.
And we can demand that we want real stories. And I hope we do. I hope it doesn't completely go away and become segmented, because we still need local journalists on the ground talking about our communities.
Absolutely.
So,
well, that's a great segue to our community who's watching. Do you have an actionable takeaway that you could give to them? Something, Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Something, be more specific, because I could go anywhere.
Well, something that you could share that could help turn their experience to where they're going to more rocket fuel, if you know what I mean.
I say reach out to the people you really trust and reach further back, because you just never know when they'll come back around. My talent coach was my college professor at USC in Toledo. Like, what were the odds? She still was living in LA and was my talent coach. And she was like, you got to think about what is after this, right? And connecting back with those people who encouraged you from a young age. I mean, I wish I could connect with my high school English teacher, because he inspired me so much and told me my writing was good. And I just needed to hear that you could go to college and your writing is really good. Connect with those people, whether it's family members, whether it's a best friend or a college roommate from the past, and just say, what's a small step I could take today that taps into that passion? Because your rocket fuel comes from what feels really good and really natural to you. And public speaking might not be natural to you. Staying behind the scenes with no images of yourself and just writing might be most natural to you, but it flows and it feels good. And so having the courage to do that, I think, takes some backing behind you and some people saying what you're saying to me. And it's really encouraging me, because you've been doing this longer than I have, this form of storytelling, right? And actually being brave enough to go live on Substack, which I haven't yet. You need that encouragement of like, we were scared too. We did it imperfectly. We messed something up technically, but we did it anyway. And we put an imperfect manuscript out there, and now it's out there. And like John said, you're leaving a legacy out there and a footprint for someone. It might be your kids. It might be someone who just needed to hear your story across the ocean, and they thought, I couldn't do this, but maybe I can, because they now have this platform. So that's where I get the most meaning, is getting a note from someone who says, this meant something to me. And you thought it was just you being kind of self-indulgent talking about yourself. Let's be honest.
So what's next for Sarah on Substack? What do we expect from you?
Hopefully I'll be on here again and again. This has been a lot of fun.
You're welcome to come back. Yeah, no.
Anytime. Yeah. Sarah, it's been such a delight. Anytime.
The whole journey of your recovery from your situation.
Cancer.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, because that's not I want to hear. But
okay.
But I'd love to bring you back on.
It is what it is.
Talk about what's been going on. So I'd love to get an update on that. That's definitely
Yeah, that would be
And
great.
with your podcast.
and
Yeah.
your podcast.
That would be the what's next, I guess. And by talking about it here, it's motivating me to actually get some episodes done. I will, anyone who, right now, I totally understand that it's only family members who are paid to subscribe. But if you want to pay to subscribe, then I'm going to give those people like the first sneak peek. They will know first when I launch my podcast.
Oh, awesome.
Who the guest will be and get to kind of experience it first.
Good.
When it launches. But really all my posts are free right now, and that's because I just enjoy writing. And I will, let people know what's going on there. And yeah, if they follow me on Substack, it's the next chapter. And I am also on Instagram. It's linked there. And that's where I'm going to be announcing it when it is officially launched. And I'm excited about that.
So you don't have any other
find
platforms other than the Instagram and Substack. Where are you living mostly? In Substack now?
Substack, I'm pretty active on Instagram. A lot of it's just posting things that I'm doing, but I think I'm going to get more into behind the scenes of podcasting, my guests, different people I've met. Like running into Bill Murray was really cool, and he wanted to talk about film festivals.
That's right, Bill Murray. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, and then he's like just fell out of the sky. He's like right behind me at a Marriott when I'm at a business
Can you
conference.
bring him on our podcast?
I wish I had that kind of connection with him, but it was
so
a very
much.
short interaction. But he was so nice. Everyone says
He's
how
a
nice
great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great
and
guy.
he's like, make your film, do your podcast. And I'm like, okay, well, I better do it because Bill Murray just told me do it.
That man is he's notoriously known for he has no agent, no manager, no marketing person.
Really?
Typically a director or a casting person, mostly a director, would have to leave a message on his answering machine.
That's so cool.
And when he did Lost in Translation, Sofia Coppola, 3 days before they started shooting, said, I wasn't completely sure he was going to show up. And he did.
Wow.
And then one night he took off after shooting and took a bullet train someplace, like far away, but a few hours away, and he made it back on set the next morning. I mean, the man marches to the beat of his own drum, and I really admire that.
Yeah.
I really would.
Well,
Not every
he's really extraordinary, right?
extraordinary.
He's such an extraordinary talent. And I was so flabbergasted because it was like a Lost in Translation moment where it wasn't a bar, it was breakfast, but I hear him chatting with someone. I recognize his voice. I turn around, it's just him. And he's right next to me. And I'm like, do I do it? Do I act like a fangirl? I don't know. I didn't say a thing about his movies that I have memorized. Like I've memorized Groundhog Day.
Yes.
What about Bob? Lost in Translation, all of it. All I do is go over there and just start chatting about anything. I just was like, did you know that Sundance is coming here? He's like, no, I didn't know that. Oh, wow. And I'm just like, I was at Mountain Film. And he's like, who are you? Right?
He probably loved it. Instead of
nice.
you fangirl, instead of you drooling all over him and fangirling, you just started a conversation.
I think so. Film festivals. And then
That's
I got
fabulous.
a little shot with him. Yeah. And his assistant or whoever was with him, he had done a show at Red Rocks the night before, I guess. Because I'm like, what are you doing in this random Marriott? But his band opened up for someone at Red Rocks, and that made sense, the location. And I get a quick photo, but he's like, act like you like him. But I was just so scared to draw attention to him that I'm like ready to bolt. And I'm like, I do, I like you. But I was just so nervous because I just
That's a
think he is
great
so
story. Oh my gosh.
He was on Silent Live for 2 years. I think it was 2 years.
Is that it?
Yeah, he left an impression though.
Saturday Night SNL. Yeah,
Legend.
he was one of the opening cast, and he didn't stay that long because he got all those films,
No,
Meatballs and everything.
He didn't get along with somebody on set.
Probably Chevy Chase. I didn't say that.
Who knows?
I think it was Chevy Chase.
Well, I know people who know him.
And yeah,
I'm sure he's a fabulous guy. Rumors be damned. I love you, Chevy.
No, but that's like he was like I think he was also he was one of the original, but not the original ones. I think he came in afterwards a little bit, and then like he was on the first year, but he came like couple sets
It
afterwards.
was before my time, but I love the clips. It was
Oh, it was
amazing.
awesome.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like,
Dan Aykroyd, everybody. Oh
yeah.
gosh.
Well, Dan was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dan was all. You can't. The first, I think that season with that cast with like I think they had a 5-year, 6-year run, and then the 1990s with Bill Crystal and Eddie
Eddie
Murphy.
Murphy.
You had
Yeah.
all the like.
Phil Hartman.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah. I think that was the other. Those 2 periods were the best. The rest have been kind of like, you know.
So yeah, if I have any run-ins like that again or get a cool guest, I'll do behind the scenes on my Instagram, and
You must, you
I'll
must,
post
you must,
the
you must.
newest episodes and where I travel, because I don't have a huge travel budget yet, but I do love to get away, and I think that's important, especially
It's
for
called
parents, because
self-funding.
yeah, right? I'm a self-funded traveling parent, and it refreshes my soul and helps me to be creative. So yeah.
And
Well,
those kinds of encounters are
Mhm.
so incredible. When I was at Banff TV and Film Festival,
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
you, yeah,
Mhm.
John Cleese, and he's
Oh, wow.
18 feet tall. And
So
I
cool.
absolutely have been in love with him since Fish Called Wanda. Well, I watched the reruns of Monty Python, but
oh, yeah.
he was the voice, he was so
Yeah.
nice, he was very hilarious in that kind of dry.
Uh-huh.
But when you have those kind of encounters and it was people that you admire and it doesn't turn into crap, which has happened to me before
Me
too,
too.
and you're
Mhm.
so, yeah, I'm sure you're
It's
so disappointed and
yeah.
destroyed and you're like, oh, there goes my idol. But yeah, those, yeah, I would pay to see those interviews.
Well, it's fun, and I love just doing it to be creative right now. So thanks for an opportunity to come on here and talk about
Yeah.
it. It's really been
Well,
a
thank
treat.
you.
Thanks for coming. Thank you for being
Yes.
here.
Yeah,
It's been
you're welcome
wonderful.
back. Just let us know. I
Okay.
guess, I mean, we have a
Could
lot of
hawk
people
your
join us. Yeah.
podcast, talk about your podcast,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I want to thank you for all the people that have been listening to
To
us.
our
Thank you.
community who've been here. Yay, I love it.
All right. Well, next time on podcast on the Positive Pen. And so what is it? What are we called? Kaz?
Store. Well, I'm Kaz in the world, but I don't know about you.
Where are we? What were we doing?
Where are we? Stories, Soulwork, and Substack.
I love it.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to Stories, Soulwork, and Substack. We're so glad you're here. If today's story made you think, smile, or feel something, share it with someone who needs a little light. You can find us anywhere you love to listen on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other streaming platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to Kaz and John Substack for updates, behind-the-scene notes, and upcoming guests. Keep writing your truth, keep doing your soul work, and remember, your story matters.